Salute, we back for another episode. This might not be that long because tonight is the fight night, and I'm missing the preliminaries. I heard Hitcherson's out. Hitcherson's out of his fight. Right. Let me see what YouTube doing. All right. Now I'm debating should I see can I get fans in here from X? I guess I'll risk it. They're acting up already. Give me a second. I was out with my wife. We was gathering up stuff because tomorrow supposed to be a snowstorm. So, me, her, and my son, make sure they good. Make sure they good for the storm. Okay. Me. Excuse me. All right. Nobody in here yet. Give me a second. Yeah, this might be a quick show. Because tonight is fight night. All right. Today we're talking about something you can hear, but everybody feels. Hold up. I read that wrong. Today we're talking about something you can't hear, but everybody feels. The silence. The silence still sitting. They're very silent. And I know a lot of y'all gonna say, no, they're not silent. They're putting out tutorials. The developers are in the Discord. No, they're not. they're at the side, and there's one developer trying to act like he's one of us, but they're silent. They're not giving us no update on anything. So stop defending them. All right. When a studio goes quiet for weeks, then months, the silence stops being neutral. The silence stops being neutral. It starts communicating something. And right now, that silence from Steel City is loud, very loud. This isn't about drama. This isn't about hate. This isn't about pattern recognition, brand trust, and community psychology. Let's break this down properly. Silence is communication. There are only 3 reasons a studio goes quiet. They're cooking something major. They're reconstructing internally. They're reconstructing. Hold up. They don't know what to say. And I think it's more of number 3. They don't know what to say. Silence isn't accidental in modern game development. In modern game development, y'all keep giving these companies excuses, but y'all want to call yourself Gen Z. Y'all want to call y'all the best era, the best technology. This the era of technology, but y'all giving them passes. Y'all giving them too many passes. The thing is, and this is what I got to keep telling y'all, people that came before any of us, they experience things so we can learn it better. We're supposed to build on things better. So all that excuse, this is their first game, that's trash. Especially after 6 years. And you got experienced developers on your team. It's no excuse. Silence isn't accidental in modern game development. Studios plan messaging cycles. Community updates are strategic. Roadmaps are internal. I don't think we're getting any more roadmaps. I don't even think Undisputed 2 is going to get roadmaps, if there is going to be an Undisputed 2, because companies have got rid of a game while it was in the middle of development. The publishers and the investors could be pulling money out. Be like, hey, nah, it don't look like it's worth us putting more money in it. And that's on them. It's 100% on the developers, the publishers, and the shareholders and investors. You're not investing in what can make the game better. You're investing on getting your money back quick. You investing to get your money back quick, which is the stupidest thing in the world to me. Any business, you want continuous money coming in. So when there's no roadmap, no mechanical breakdown, no developer diaries, no systems transparency, the silence becomes the message. And the message people are receiving right now is, we're not ready to address what you're asking. That's not necessarily guilt. That is perception. And perception shapes brand health. and perception shapes brand health. If there were a perfect stable product, if this was a perfectly stable product, silence wouldn't hit the same. If the game was in a good state, close to being great state, nobody wouldn't be complaining. But the game is broken. Yeah, I know people still playing it. But this is like a person don't have nothing else to do. They're going to play with something and make the best out of it. I can't do it. I don't care how much I say. If you're a boxing fan, you will be supporting them and you will be playing them. I bought 3 copies. I support it. But I'm not going to continue to support something I do not like. I don't like the game. It doesn't represent boxing. It represents fighting games. It doesn't represent the sport of boxing. Let me see. There are still unresolved. Hold on. The context matters. If this was a perfectly stable product, silence wouldn't hit the same. But we're not dealing with that. There are still unresolved mechanic discussions. There's division in the community, huge division in this community. There are questions about direction. That's been like day one. A question about direction the game is going in. What is this game going to be? They're scared to tell us what the game is so they can trick people into buying it. I don't care what they say and be like, you can't say that, Poe. You can't say that. Yes, they are tricking people. They are tricking people. And they really are tricking people. Just say what it is. It's a hybrid game that's leaning toward arcade. More arcade than anything. There were high expectations previously set. There were high expectations previously set. When expectations are elevated and communication drops, anxiety rises. That's not emotion. That's human behavior science. Communities fill silence with speculation. Communities fill silence with speculation. And speculation becomes a narrative. Let me see if anybody came in here. Oh, y'all fill it up in here. What's up, Boxing Lounge? Salute. It's all Box Out View. Salute to you, Box Out View. It's always business when it comes to the most. It's always business when it comes to most video games, unfortunately. Games still has horrendous input delay in a sports game. Reacting too long after the fact. Exactly. Appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that like button, please. I'm trying to get the algorithm. All right. Marketing versus mechanics. What makes this louder is the contrast. When fans are marketing content, tutorials, pushes, promotional cycles, but don't see mechanical transparency. It creates friction. It makes people ask, are we fixing systems or are we polishing perception? Are we fixing systems or are we polishing perception? Marketing without visible system repair can feel like deflection, even if it isn't. And perception is everything in a niche sports title. Why this is risky? Sports games live and die by trust. Look at franchises that survive rough launches. They over communicate. They they detailed patch notes. They explain mechanics. They acknowledge flaws. Silence is a competitive silence in the competitive sports ecosystem signals one or two things. The team is overwhelmed or the team is pivoting. Neither are fatal. But without communication, the community assumes the worst version of either. And once trust erodes, regaining its cause. And once trust erodes, regaining it costs more than building it originally. The community divide. Here's the dangerous part. When there when there's silence, two groups form. Group A, they're working. Be patient. Group B, they don't care. It's over. That divide grows louder than the original issue. Now, instead of discussing mechanics, the community argues with itself. People start arguing with me. The fragmentation is more dangerous than any patch bugs because once a fan base splits into identity camps, rebuilding unity becomes harder than fixing code. Is silence always bad? No. Silence can mean a sequel is in early development. A major overhaul is underway. Licensing negotiations are happening. Strategic resets are being planned. But here's the key difference. Healthy science is paired with reassurance. A simple, we hear you, we're working, more soon. That's all it takes for stable perception. Silence without reassurance, that's when it feels loud. The sequel rumor. There are rumors about a potential next installment. If true, that creates another layer. If a studio pivots to a sequel without addressing current issues, fans don't feel excitement. They feel abandoned. And that perception follows into the next product. History shows us something important. Sports titles don't get unlimited redemption arcs. They get one major trust recovery window. Miss that window, and market confidence shifts permanently. Give me a second, y'all. right, back. The real risk, the real danger isn't silence, it's narrative loss. When fans start saying they don't respect boxing, they're hiding. They're just marketing, which they are. They're still marketing a broken game. That becomes harder to undo than a gameplay bug because narrative sticks longer than mechanics. What should happen? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat first. What's up, Blaster X1? What's up, A Smooth? Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, I'm happy you came through. One thing about hybrid games, they can show players what should be in the game, but that can make the game look better than it is. It should be a mode. It should be a mode instead of them forcing people to play one mode. I would be it would be bad for me to just want a hardcore game when I know casual players want to play a boxing game too, and there should be a mode for them, and that makes more sales. So that means I'm gonna get me as a player going to get a better game each time, and we get more things. They don't got to concentrate on different things. Understand? What should happen if I was advising strategically? I'll recommend a mechanical transparency update, a roadmap, even if it's tentative, a developer Q&A addressing top 5 community concerns, a developer Q&A addressing top 5 community concerns. At this point, they should be letting us be unlimited. It should be an unlimited Q&A, and it should be live. A clear statement on long-term vision. No overpromising, no hype, no clarity. Because they were saying Ash was overpromising things. He could do that. It's his game. Let me come into some money. Everything that I overpromised is going to be in the game. 100%. It's going to be in the game. Because I know what technology exists. I know what developers are out there. There are a lot of developers losing jobs from major companies, but Steel City is not snatching them up. They snatching up the people that probably got a couple of months experience or a year experience. You don't want that person. Silence isn't automatically failure, but silence during tension amplifies doubt. Right now, the silence feels loud because expectations were high, because fans care, because boxing had many chances in the modern era, because boxing hasn't had many chances in the modern era. And when a niche sport finally gets a spotlight, boxing is not a niche sport. Finally get a spotlight, the community doesn't want mystery. They want direction. You just got saying in the chat. It should always be a hybrid sim and the option to play arcade with simple control schemes. Yeah, I think it should be hardcore sim by default. But the game should focus on simulation, but just with options on how you want to play. 100%. Exactly. If I could come into some money as well, I'll be sure to donate to your game, Paul. We all need that if it happens. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I bet y'all can put a better team together than Ash. I bet you I could put a better team together than Ash. There were actually a couple of developers said, man, the way you talk and the ideas that you got, I want to be a part of your team. When you get the money and funds, I want to be a part of your team. No cap. I'm not lying. Developers literally said that. He said, man, with your ambitions and your ideas, and if you had the money for that game, I want to be a part of it. And I was like, Dad, that made me feel good. Let me see. Oh, all right. Silence hit differently in sports games. Why? Because sports titles are living ecosystems. They're not just they're not one and done RPGs. They're not one and done RPGs. They're not story driven single experiences. They rely on mechanical trust, competitive integrity, roster confidence, long term support. When updates stall or communication slows, players don't get players don't just feel ignored, they feel unstable. In competitive environments, stability equals legitimacy. If players question whether mechanics are being tuned, balanced, or redesigned, they hesitate to invest time. Mastering systems, that's dangerous because mastery is what keeps sports games alive. The competitive scene effect. Here's something not every people here's something not enough people discuss. Competitive players need confidence in hit detection, reliability, physics, consistency, AI, authenticity, damage logic, scoring criteria. If they sense uncertainty about system foundations, they hesitate to build tournaments, leagues, or content around it. And once competitive organizers lose momentum, that energy rarely returns at the same level. Silence freezes momentum. Momentum is oxygen in sports gaming. The difference between working quietly and disappearing. The difference between working quietly and disappearing. Let's clarify something important. Working quietly is respectable. Disappearing isn't. There's a difference between we can't share details yet, but we're building core systems and no roadmaps, no acknowledgement, no structured communication. Even a quarterly transparency post will change perception dramatically. You don't need spoilers, you need reassurance. The marketing imbalance. When tutorials or promotional pushes appear during mechanical tension, fans interpret it as a misaligned priorities, even if internally both departments are separate. Optics matter. If gameplay systems are the pain point, marketing content without system acknowledgement feels like polishing the surface of something the community wants rebuilt. And that disconnects widen trust gaps. Is this a pivot moment? Is this a pivot moment? Let's talk strategy. Studios sometimes go silent before major engine overhauls, sequel transitions, licensing expansions, organizational reconstruction. If there is a pivot happening behind the scenes, silence might be strategically containment. Silence might be strategic containment. But here's the problem. Where's the previous product when the previous product still has unresolved debates? A pivot without closure feels like abandonment. Fans don't just want the next thing, they want resolution. The boxing community is not casual. This is critical. Boxing fans are analytical. They debate punch selection. They analyze foot placement. They argue about scoring criteria. You cannot market to this community without eventually addressing system depth. They are not surface level consumers. They care about authentic tendencies, true to life stamina curves, ring general logic, defensive nuance. Silence to a casual market is neutral. Silence is a detail orientated boxing community is suspicious. I read that wrong. Silence to a detail oriented boxing community is suspicious. All right. What happened if this continues? 3 possible outcomes. The silence builds anticipation and a major reveal resets everything. The communities slowly disengage. The fan base fractures permanently. Option 1 is the only positive scenario, but anticipation only works if belief still exists. If belief fades, anticipation turns into apathy, and apathy is worse than criticism. Criticism means people still care. Apathy means they're gone. The reputation window. Every new sports IP gets forgiveness cycles. 1. After that, expectations tighten. If a second installment or major update arrives without lesson learned, critics harden. Right now is the window. Transparency here could reset perspective. Silence risks solidarity, negativity narratives. Silence risks solidifying negative narratives. The hard question is the silence strategic or is it reactive? Strategic silence feels calm. Reactive silence feels tense. The community can sense the difference. And right now, the energy feels unsettled. What will rebuild confidence instantly? No hype, no cinematic trailers, no influencer partnerships. One simple thing, a mechanical roadmap. Even something like question 1, damage recalibration. Question 2, AI behavioral overhaul. Question 3, defensive systems tuning. Question 4, community feature integration. Integration. Excuse me. Daggone. That alone shifts the conversation. I don't know why I say question. It's just Q1. That alone shifts the conversation because clarity reduces speculation. The real stakes. This isn't about one title. It's about boxing as a viable AAA sports genre again. If this experiment fails, publishers become hesitant, investors pull back. And this is why I'm pushing so hard, because I know there are developers out there that want to make boxing video games. And Steel City messed it up for us. The only ones that's really trying to push to make a game now is guys like Love C Shorty, Truth Bound, Claim Uncut, and I forget the other one. I forget right now. But all these guys, they're making it, but they don't have the resources. The real stakes. This isn't just about one title. It's about boxing as the viable AAA sports genre again. If this experiment fails, publishers become hesitant, investors pull back, and sports wait another decade. We're gonna have to wait another decade or more to get a high, a big title like a AA or AAA title. That's why silence feel heavy, because it carries more than just patch experience. It carries genre momentum. Silence doesn't automatically mean collapse, but in a divided community, silence amplifies division. It leaves space for rumor. It leaves space for frustration. It leaves space for conspiracy. And once those narratives anchor, reversing them takes far more effect than preventing them. Excuse me. Daggone. So I'll ask you this. If you were advising the studio right now, would you tell them to keep quiet and cook, release a roadmap, host a live Q&A, or drop a surprise announcement? Because right now the silence isn't just quiet, it's shaping perspective. And perspective shape legacy. I'm gonna do a quick Q&A, and I think that's how I'm gonna end the night, because I'm trying to watch boxing, man. I'm not one of those fake boxing fans. I want to watch some of these preliminaries. I agree with that 100%. You're more plugged in than Ash. That's why it kills me why you couldn't be a part of the company. We would have had a little elite boxing. Exactly. It's like they refused for me to be a part of the thing. I know Will was like, nah, he's too over passionate. He gonna want too much. And the funniest thing, for Will to even say that, oh, he's too passionate, he gonna want too much. I should have looked at it like, yo, you talking about me too. Because Ash was over what people were saying, he was over ambitious. And to me, a developer can, an owner of a company can never be over ambitious, especially in this day and age. He could never be looked at as being over ambitious. Get the right investors, build the right thing, and you can make your game. See, so many games with like small teams. That's why everybody says, "Oh, they're a small team." They're stop taking the excuses that Steel City wants you to have. Because I've seen small teams make beautiful games that you think that a large team made. Let me do some Q&As. Then I gotta get on my go watch me some boxing matches. All right. Give me a second. Please hit the like button, comment, and share. And I need y'all support so I can get in the algorithm. I'm on it. I'm on here every day. From Monday to Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Sundays, I'm on here at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and if y'all got questions, put questions in the chat, and I will answer them on the next show. Any questions? Any questions? All right, let me see. Somebody gave me a question. Why are you even worried about silence? Maybe they're just working. Working quietly isn't an issue. The issue is silence during tension. If a product launch is clean and stable, silence is neutral. If a product has ongoing mechanical debates and community division, silence amplifies uncertainty. The silence isn't automatically bad, but silence without reassurance during instability feels different. Because Undisputed, the first game is like broken. It has a lot of problems. It's missing a lot of things. I got another question. Question 2. Do you want them to rush something just to talk? You can talk and develop a game. Companies do it all the time. Do you want them to rush something just to talk? My answer is no. Communication is not the same as shipping. Communication is not the same as shipping. A simple structured update would suffice. What systems are under review? What isn't changing? That's big right there. What isn't changing? What's the long-term vision? What is the long-term vision? You don't rush patches to communicate. You don't rush patches to communicate. You clarify direction. Question 3. You're just creating drama. It's like people just use words just to be using them. It's like they be trying to gaslight people. You're just creating drama. My answer: drama is emotional exaggeration. This is risk assessment. Sports titles live on trust and consistency. When communication pauses in a divided ecosystem, community confidence dips. Pointing that out isn't drama, it's analysts. It's patterns. Question 4. They don't owe you anything. Question 4. They don't owe you anything. My answer: true. No studio owes constant updates. But when you build a live service perception, set high expectations, and encourage community investment, transparency become part of a brand maintenance. Transparency becomes part of brand maintenance. It's not about entitlement. It's about long-term retention strategy. Question 5. What if they're working on a sequel? My answer, then silence becomes even riskier. If unresolved mechanical issues remain in the current title, the next installment is announced without closure. Fans interpret that as avoidance. Sequel excitement requires foundation stability. Otherwise, skepticism follow into the next product. Question 6. Give me a second. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Let me see. Maybe they're under NDAs or publisher pressure. My answer, possibly, but even within constraints, messaging is manageable. A neutral statement like, we hear the feedback, we are actively reviewing systems, more details when possible. That alone stabilizes perception. Silence leaves interpretation uncontrolled. Silence leaves interpretation uncontrolled. And this is the thing. You check this out. Maybe they're under NDA or publisher pressure. So that means you acknowledging that the publisher has more control than some people think. That shows you think the publisher has more control than people think. Why does it matter so much? These questions. Because boxing is a sport genre. Because boxing as a sports genre doesn't get frequent chances in the AAA space. Because boxing as a sports genre doesn't get frequent chances in the AAA space. If trust erodes here, investors hesitate next time. They're not even going to hesitate. They're not going to invest. This is something I know. I'm not guessing. This is bigger than one patch cycle. It's about genre viability. You're being impatient. Man, when people tell me I'm being impatient, I've been waiting for over 3 decades or 4 decades for a realistic boxing game. When ESBC showed that video that got 1 million likes, I was going crazy. I almost started crying. Even if I did cry, I wouldn't tell y'all. But I was like, yeah, finally. So to say I'm being impatient is crazy. I'm not waiting for another 40 years, 30 years, another 10 years. If I could get it now. You're being impatient. My answer, time isn't the issue. Uncertainty is. Players can wait, but they need confidence in direction while waiting. Question number 9. The game is playable. Why focus on negatives? I get this all the time. The game is playable. Why focus on the negatives? My answer: playable and optimized are not the same thing. Fans discussing the mechanical death aren't attacking enjoyment. They're discussing ceiling potential. Sports game survive on refinement. Pointing at refinement gaps isn't negativity. It's preservation. Question 10. What will satisfy you? My answer: not hype, not marketing, just structured clarity. What is being improved? What philosophy guides development? What timeline expectations look like? Clarity reduces division. Question 11. Is silence always bad? My answer: no. Strategic silence before a major overhaul can work, but it must eventually be paired with confidence. If silence stretches without reassurance, speculation becomes the loudest voice. Question 12. Are fans overreacting? My answer: some always will. But when concern become constant across casual players, competitive players, and content creators, that's not overreacting. That's patterns. Question 13. What's the real risk here? My answer: not bugs, not mechanics, narrative loss. If the community's story becomes they don't listen, they pivot without closure, they focus on optics, that narratives linger longer than the gameplay flaws. What's the best case scenario? My answer: a controlled silence followed by a mechanical roadmap, a transparent patch philosophy, clear long-term vision. If that happens, this quiet period becomes irrelevant. If not, it becomes a turning point. Question 15. What would you do if you were advising them? This is a good question, and I could go on for days and days, literally. What would you do if you were advising them? My answer: release a short transparency post, outline system review priorities, commit to a structured communication cadence, avoid overpromising. Consistency rebuilds confidence faster than speculation. All right, let's simplify. Do you think the silence means something big is coming, or do you think it signals uncertainty? Drop your answer, because silence doesn't stay neutral forever. Eventually, it defines the story. I'm about to end the show, y'all. Appreciate y'all, because I'm trying to watch the fights. I'm about to start watching the fights. But I appreciate everybody that came here. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And, check out my blogs that I post I post so you could go to my blogs. Check them out. Check out my wish list. Just salute to all of y'all that came through. Shout out to Boxing Lounge. Appreciate you. Box Eye View. Appreciate you. Shout out to A Smooth. Appreciate you, brother. Blaster X. Appreciate you. Shout out to Leafy. Shout out to AJ Pax. Shout out to JMMA. Shout out to Remy. Shout out to Don D. I almost forgot you, Don D. I don't know what's going on with me. Shout out to Don D 205. You can find him on Twitch. Daggone. Twitch, TWITCH. You can find him there. And, you know, it's Don D 205 on Twitch. And give him support. Then you can find him on Don D 205 TV on Instagram. And you can find him on X or Twitter. It's Don D 205. Support the brother. And shout out to everybody. I appreciate you again, A Smooth, for popping through. Let me see. I don't want to leave nobody off the table. Blaster X, I gave you a shout out. You know, shout out to, you know, the Wishlist Mafia. Shout out to Ichiro. Shout out to E Champion Boxing. Shout out to that I forgot. But you know, shout out to the community. Peace. I see y'all tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to watch the boxing match. Oh, I should quickly go over my picks for the night. But I did a whole video with all my picks. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. Cause I don't want to stay on it longer than I should be. But I picked I think it might be an upset. I think Ryan might get stopped. I think Ryan might get stopped. I hope he don't, but Ryan might get stopped because it seems like Ryan is not mentally there. He might shock us. He does that a lot. And Richard Henderson, I heard, wasn't fighting tonight. And I got Gary Anton Eccles, but he's going to stop the guy that he's fighting. I forgot the other fights, but I had picks for him too. But I forgot the rest of the fights. All right, y'all. Peace until tomorrow. If y'all show up. Make sure you like this show on your way out and share it if you can. Peace.